Well, welcome. I am just dropping this in some of the discords I am in. I am over in the Davis Maddock Discord, one of my favorite places to hang out. One of the best guys in the industry. And all right, again, we have audio. It's a miracle. All right, and I'm going to tweet it out. And then we'll jump right in. So this is better than yesterday. We might actually get in a draft before we're 5 minutes into the stream. Anyone wants to hang out? Live running some BRs on Underdog. All right, so I'm going to try to join and see if I get the location error. No, we jumped right in. So yesterday I did ultimately max the main BR. So I apologize. Might be misleading. We might not be fighting for $30,000 in this particular one. I think we're actually fighting for $1,500, but that is not as fun. Waiting for this one to fill. So we'll see how long it takes. It says we're waiting for 3, so I might pick another contest so that we're not just totally hanging out doing nothing. I guess in the interim, I can pull up my exposures just so it's not a waiting screen. And then if anyone joins, they can see. Oh yes, Nick, back-to-back Chad. We are. This is 2 days in a row. And as the immortal Lou Brown said in Major League, one more, and we call that a streak. So Nick, thank you for swinging by. I am currently in a lobby, and I'm just not sure if that one will fire, so I'm going to fire something else up. But I did want to go through my exposures in these. I maxed the main BR, finished maxing it yesterday. As you can see, where I have put my chips in on Mahomes as my QB1. I did not fully fade anyone, but I am definitely rooting for the Chiefs, or at least the Chiefs passing game tomorrow. As far as the running backs go, again, very heavily weighted towards the Chiefs and the Bills. I think that I'm a little worried about that Philly-Washington game being a bit more of a defensive battle. And, as I consume more content, I think there's a lot of worry on the Chiefs-Bills side that's going to be the defensive battle game, if there is one. So we'll see. I mean, it's quite possible that the two games are kind of similar, and you kind of had to pick and choose between the two, between the players in both games. I sort of went. It's a lot easier to build game stacks and then maybe have one piece or even no pieces. So I have a lot of builds. If I did go into the Eagles Commanders games, I kind of just did a full game stack and said, well, this is the game you need. This is kind of how I built. And then finally looking at tight end, as you can see, very bearish on the Bills tight ends. I was a huge Dalton Kincaid bull all season, and I have just fully capitulated on that front. I wish I had more Kelsey than anyone, but you really, as the drafts went on, you just could not get him outside of the first round. So, having above 25%, I think is fine. So I'm pretty happy with my my tight end exposures. Let's see. Oh, it fired up. So here we go. We'll jump into the room. We got the 101, and we will take Saquon. Now this is a 2 max. So very top heavy. 2,800 people, and if you don't get in the top 5, you get nothing. So Um, should have thought about before I jumped in how I really want to build. I'm not afraid of duping a previous lineup I made, so I will say that. With all of the money at the top, I'm not sure if that means I want to get a little weird with my last pick. I guess we're going to just see what the room gives us. There are a few late round clicks that I don't mind at all. And my God, Travis Kelce goes at 6. Where is that when I have the third pick? But anyway, Travis Kelce goes there. It's pretty late for him. Pacheco, I mean, this is so early. This guy just took Pacheco at 7. He goes undrafted sometimes. What are we doing here? I'm just going to take the 2 best receivers. I'll take A.J. Brown and I'll take Shakir. And I will not complain about starting Barkley, Brown, Shakir. It does mean it's a little weird if I take Mahomes because I am now going to be up against Mahomes, Kelce, Mahomes-worthy teams. And obviously, Mahomes, Hollywood, Mahomes, Gray, Hopkins, etc. could theoretically get there ahead of those teams. It just feels a little thinner. I don't know if that's where I want to be in single entry. So I will probably see about taking, this might be a Hurts team. If Daniels falls to me, it might be a Daniels team offsuit. Welcome. Thank you for swinging by. I appreciate it. We are in a little double reverse 2 because they're saying that this is the contest you want to win this week. If you can best your 2,820 people in this $2 tournament, you got to do it. I'm pretty sure I actually thought this was like a $6 tournament. And that also kind of explains why Travis Kelce went at 6 and Isaiah Pacheco went at 7. So, I would do these if you're grinding the BR streets and it's you're tired of getting the same tired combos and having nobody fall. This is kind of nice to just be able to do some of those builds that you might have only gotten once in a blue moon. So Hopkins goes. I think I want to take Ertz here. Oof. This is tough. It's a little tough if I want to go Ertz, Goddard. If I'm going to take Hurts, then maybe Ertz makes more, or Goddard makes more sense. But you know what? I'm going to take Zach Ertz here as a bring back on that side. And then I would like to wait. Who does this guy have? Yeah, I'm just going to take Hurts here. The guy with no quarterback yet looks like they're 50-50 because they have Kelce, so they could take Mahomes. But they were also sitting there with what looks like a Eagles Commanders game stack. So didn't want to risk it. I didn't really want to end up with like Mahomes unstacked in this lineup. So we shall see what we end up with. I assume this guy is going to take. Okay, so he takes Goddard. So Goddard goes. So the question of what to do with my last pick. I think I would take Curtis Samuel. I think that's where I want to go in this. This being 2 max, he's not going to get drafted most of the time. I do already have Shakir, but on a 2-game slate, I think this is fine. So I'm going to end with Samuel because I think he's a bit of a differentiator. So end up with Hurts, Saquon, AJ Brown, Shakir, and Ertz. Oh no, offsuit. That is a nightmare scenario, especially in like a 3 max, and then that's such a great tournament because it's rake free and it's like, or it's reduced rake, and it's, yeah, you don't want to blow that. I'm sorry that happened. That's killer. But who knows? Maybe Josh at the 102, you'll get some kind of unique pairing that you wouldn't have gotten. But yeah, I'm of a pretty strong view that taking QB in the first round doesn't make you different enough to make up for just like creating a worse team. I'm not trying to rag on you for picking them, but I do see people who are drafting off of the projection and not any kind of logical order will take Allen in the first round, and to me that just like really puts you behind the 8 ball a bit, especially with how fast some of these positions just like turn to dust. So we are now sitting in the Deposit Kingdom waiting room, waiting for 2. Anyone who wants, feel free to hop in. Team ended up being Allen, Worthy, Shakir, Diami, Ertz, Ty Johnson. Yeah, I think that's fine, right? Like, Worthy and Shakir easily could be the wide receiver 1 and 2. And to say Allen is not the favorite to be the QB1 is it's just wrong. So I think that's fine, right? And then you've got three different pieces. Ty Johnson's not taken in every draft, and he does seem like someone that Allen will throw to. I mean, we all saw that like 30-yard catch. My nipples, my choice. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. A legend of the Davis Maddock Discord himself. So, nipples, thank you for coming by and hanging out here for a minute, or however long you want to hang out. You can hang out for more than a minute, frankly. So this one fires up. We got the 3 hole, which I like because it guarantees one of the Saquon, Cook, Kelsey 3. I really kind of have been varying my 4th and 5th pick pretty heavily, but I just simply don't pass one of those top 3. I think there really is such a positional drop-off after Saquon and Cook goes, and then after Kelsey goes. So we have 2 seconds to launch, and we will see how this goes. So Saquon goes first, not surprising. Allen goes second, which, as I just said, I really don't like. I think that there are so many times where Allen falls into even the 3rd round, and it could get there, right? You could end up with one of those late pieces really spiking, but it's not really where I want to end up here. So McLaurin and Cook go. For me, the question is, because I really do prefer this game, is do I double stack a Mahomes, or do I go right to the Shakir bring back? I like Worthy a lot. Last week he was the only wide receiver that had a catch on the Chiefs, and so his role is really good. I don't trust Buffalo's defense, and if I'm going to take a late wide receiver, I think I want it to be one of the random Buffalo junkers. Your Coleman, your Mac Hollins, your Curtis Samuel, your Cooper. I'd rather roll the dice on one of those guys than like Zacchaeus or Jahan Dotson or Crowder. So I am fine doing that. I will take Devonta here because I think there's a huge tier break between Devonta and then Diami and Hollywood Brown. So I'm just going to scoop what I perceive to be that value. And I will likely take one of these 3 running backs. Well, one of these 3 running backs next. I think that's fine. Like I did not take enough Crowder. I don't think I realized when I'm going to take Hunt here, and we're just going to go Giga Stack Kansas City. Yeah, I don't think I took enough Crowder. I realized when I was done with the main BR that I was massively underexposed. So yeah, those guys could definitely get some run, right? I think Philadelphia has a really strong secondary. I don't like McLaurin. I have almost a nearly full fade position on him. Like I think I have less. I know I have less than 10% of him. I just say this guy. I'm just gonna take Mahomes here because I'm gonna end up with probably. I'm going to take Curtis Samuel here. I think he's my favorite of these scroll down guys, assuming Cash does not. And I would really don't want this to be a Jalen Hurts team with how much Kansas City I have. But yeah, I think the Washington randoms are fine. But I guess if I'm trying to build a Mahomes stack, then I would rather finish with Samuel here. So we end up with Mahomes, Hunt, Worthy, Devonta Smith, Samuel, and Travis Kelce. And if this lineup hits, Davis should be pretty happy. And I will fire up another one. I might save one of these for later just because there's a good chance I'll end up with the same people I'm up against. Although these all look different, and we'll get a Saquon team. How have the Eagles been against number one receivers? To my recollection, they have been strong. Let's see. And I'm sure there is a better site to look this up on. Let's see. These are always, for me, Nipples, these can be kind of weird because, like, it can kind of vary. Like, sometimes this can get skewed, like if a team plays, like, a bunch of bad receivers. So I kind of, like, would rather dig in a little more granularly. Ask Chat GPT. All right, hold on. Let me take Saquon here. All right. So I have pulled up CBS Sports, and I don't know if anyone's been to their website in the last 20 years for fantasy football information, but they do have a fairly decent, like, wide receivers against page, so we can see. So, this was a snow game, a weird game, and you have, like, someone like Puka gets hyper targeted, but they shut down Jaden Reed. But again, it's like, how did they do against Malik Neighbors with their backups? So if we go during the year, they limited McLaurin to 5 for 60 and a touchdown. Olamide Zaccheaus went off against them. I would have to go into get a little more granular in the game and see why Zaccheaus had such a big game. Because frankly, that's a little bit interesting. I am up again with Saquon. Oh boy. See, I think I'm going to take Allen here. I'll take Allen and Devonta. Again, here we are. We're getting Allen in the, basically the functional equivalent of the third round. And there's an argument that I should have passed him and he would have kept going. But I'll just take the value there on Allen and see how we end up finishing out this team. But yeah, if we go to, like, the middle of the year, how the Rams did, it's like, well, Cooper Kupp, and Puka did well. So maybe I'm fudding the Commanders pass catchers more than I should be. The first time they met, here we see Terry McLaurin had 1 reception for 10 yards. Nobody did good. They limited Brian Thomas Jr. 2 for 22. So, maybe that's where my head canon was coming from like earlier in the year. It looks like later on they gave up a little more than they did early. I'm back up here. I will take Hollywood Brown and think Zach Ertz here. So I'm not necessarily building a huge Josh Allen stack. This feels a little bit like a 6 player parlay that I'm building, but we'll see, because I like all these 6 players in a vacuum, and we'll see if this actually creates a good team. Oh my God, am I sharing the wrong screen? No, we're good. So, we'll be taking, again, one of these, this time I'll make sure to take a random Buffalo receiver at the end. And spoilers, I will probably be taking Curtis Samuel because he is my favorite. Normally I'd mix this up a little more, but in this 3 max, I kind of just want to get my guys. I'm not trying to build a big portfolio and cover a lot of bases. So I have no problem ending this with really Coleman, Cooper, Hollins, whomever, but I just got a feeling on Samuel this week. So that is how we will wind this team out. So, all right. I have not done, I think I maybe did one of these mini Royales. So let's do one of these. This is large field, decent payout structure. You generally like to see second place a little more than half of first, but it's nice that 10th place is 1/10 of first. That's sort of the rule of thumb for me for a good contest that isn't just inherently a winner take all or something that is super top heavy. So I do like to check that before I jump into things. And we are now waiting for one. Again, if anyone wants to hop in one of these with me, I do not care. You can snipe you can snipe Curtis Samuel at the end, and I won't get too tilted. So we are in the 4-hole. Again, generally my least favored spot. When Davis did the stream with Nerdy Tenor and Brick on the Endgame Syndicate, it was pretty clear that the Saquon teams have a very high expected value compared to any other team. So, you're going into this kind of feeling a little behind the 8 ball, and I mean, you literally could just be buried if Saquon puts up 35 points. You're hoping to maybe get a min cash out of any other spot but the one, which happens some weeks in BR. That's kind of the risk of the format. But that's a little bit of a feature, not a bug, right? I mean, we're gonna see on DraftKings, Saquon in small field is going to be 80-90% owned, because if you want him, you can have him. And so, if he is who you need and only 25% of the field has it, well, you've already, the lineups where you do have him, you've boxed out 75% of the field. So it's not, you can't think of it as, a huge reason not to play BR or a problem with the game. It's just, it is just part of the game. So I did manage to get Cook at 4, which I like. So I will open Cook worthy, which is a start I am happy to do. An NBA 2K game, man. That sounds like fun. I have not played any of the new NBA games in the last 5 years, so I imagine it would be kind of a nightmare for me to jump in those streets now. But yeah, that's fun, man. I hope you're having a good Saturday. I hope everyone is, and yeah, excited for the games tomorrow. As a Dolphins fan, I never have anything to root for in a positive way. I'm usually I just went for years just rooting against the Patriots, and starting to feel that way about the Chiefs, except they're playing the Bills, who are one of the Dolphins' big rivals. So it's just I don't even know what I want in this game. I just want it to be a good game. I'm just going to try to enjoy it as somewhat of a neutral fan. Although with my Chiefs exposure, I think I'm just go Chiefs at this point, because I think it's now in my financial interests for them to do well. All right. So Dallas Goedert goes. I think I am Kareem Hunt over B-Rob, and I think. All right, I'm going to take Hunt, and then what do I want to do? I guess I could take Brown. My problem is if Mahomes goes, I am stuck with this guy really should take Hurts, right? But like in a world where he doesn't, if you do this to yourself, if you have Mahomes or if you end up with Hurts and only the tight end spot and Goddard's gone, you're gonna have naked Hurts, and you're just gonna have to be okay with that. And normally I'd say that's fine, but I am definitely worried about his knee and not doing the tush push. Not doing the tush push this week. So we will end with one of my favorite combos here, which is Mahomes and Noah Gray. Because if you do miss on Travis Kelce, it feels like you could potentially backdoor it with Noah Gray. So happy with this team. Maybe it's a little Chiefs heavy, but I don't mind having this in the portfolio of drafts at all. So we continue. We'll do another one. I am just going to try to invite some friends, see if they want to hang out. So just bear with me for one moment. All right. All right. We will see. I got the 4 spot again. Don't know how many of these I plan on doing in this particular contest. $10 price points. It's a little higher than the regular BR. But again, pretty fair payout structure. It's always nice when a min cash is near a 2x. Generally like to see that. I think that helps make these a little more sustainable than if you're in for $10 and you min cash and you get like $15. Never feels great. So all the people I want have gone. I'm really not big on McLaurin. I think I'm going to make this a worthy Allen team. Yeah. There's an argument where if you're going to do one-off receiver in Allen, it should be Shakir. I'm definitely sympathetic to that argument. But there are times when Shakir falls, and I think you can backstack Allen pretty easily. I mean, maybe it's a little bit of cope. Like Shakir's not going to come all the way to the 3-4. I've seen that happen, but it's pretty rare. It's not something you can count on. When you're drafting out of that 4-5 spot. So we see the wide receiver run goes McLaurin, Shakir, AJ Brown. AJ Brown, who has fallen quite a bit. And frankly, I think if he catches that touchdown that he dropped in a snow game, he's going ahead of McLaurin. But people are really out on AJ Brown, and I don't know if it's just because people are out on inner excellence or they're still searching for their inner excellence, but it's been quite a bit of FUD on him, it seems. So Jaden Daniels goes. Yeah, people just kind of do whatever in these 4-person drafts. Like for me, if I have this start that Botan did, I would probably want that to be a Mahomes team. So I will take the gift of Devonta Smith here. I think he's, like I've said before, that tier break is just massive. So I will take Devonta, and then I think I prefer B-Rob to Eckler. I think if they get down near the goal line and it goes to a running back, it's either B-Rob or McNichols and not Eckler. And Jaden Daniels doesn't strike me as huge on the check down. I mean, I know Eckler in the passing game is seen as fairly elite, but the game before last, B-Rob actually, they were either tied or they were one apart in targets. So he, in a script where there are checkdowns, it's not necessarily the fact that they're all going to go to Eckler. So I like him because I think his role is just a little better. But it would not surprise me entirely to see more Eckler and McNichols kind of eat his lunch a little bit. So we will see what happens. Try to figure out how we want to end this. I barely have any Dalton Kincaid. I think I need to capitulate and take a little bit of him on Josh Allen teams. So I'm going to take Kincaid and Samuel to wind this team down. Allen does offer you like a lot of backstacking possibilities if you don't get Shakir. I think I prefer to have him with Shakir. I think Shakir is the only Buffalo pass catcher you truly can rely on. But it wouldn't shock me to see one of these like ancillary pieces get there ahead of Shakir. So don't mind this team at all. I think it's fine. And let's fire up another. All right, looks like this one is filled and should fire. And I have the 101, which is awesome. We're going to take Saquon. I am going to jump off my desk for like 15 seconds. I will be right back. I am back, and I lost one of my viewers during that time. Devastation. I am sorry. I am sorry to the person that has bailed. I don't blame you. The Chad Candle's silent film era. It's a rather forgettable one, but so we take Saquon here. Unsurprising. Historical Anomalies, thank you. You are a loyal friend and true to the program. I don't think I'm generally going to max BR. I did not enjoy the process. I definitely like just picking my guys versus being like, oh, I did this, and now I'm going to take Keon Coleman instead of Curtis Samuel and Mac Hollins. Like that was not fun. But this is, the last slate before a long, cold, football-less summer. And so I felt the need to do it. I felt duty-bound to defend the title. Because what if? People are saying, what if? I am going to take Devonta. I think I like that. This is brutal because I really want to take Josh Allen. I don't know what I want to do here. I gotta be honest. I feel like just taking a running back is not the play. I'm gonna take Josh. I don't know. I don't know if that was good. I feel like I should be more self-confident in some of my picks. But it's really hard for me to not take Josh Allen in the third when he's there. It is. I agree with this 100%. One of two things, right? You're either going to have it be like, oh, you didn't draft Mac Hollins, like GG, or it's going to be like AJ Brown scores, McLaurin scores, Worthy scores, Shakir scores, and then it's going to be just an absolute battle of like who was able to get the most chalky pieces together. Come down to like lineup construction. Did you go 2 RBs or 3 receivers? I think it's going to be more fun if it's just some random junker. It'll be really fun if it's Curtis Samuel because I have like way too much of him. But yeah, on this short slate, like if Jahan Dotson scores a touchdown, that would be huge. Or even if like Dawson Knox scores, and he ends up being like the leading tight end scorer, it'll shake things up pretty heavily. Somewhat surprised that both of these running back options are here. I think I would prefer Kareem Hunt as to go on the opposite side of this Josh Allen. I have taken almost no Pacheco. I think Pacheco is pretty darn close to 0. Don't seem like they trust him. Looks like he has no juice at all. So I will take Hunt here. And then question is, you know what? I'm going to take Keon Coleman. And then as the secret sauce for my loyal viewers, we're going to try to take Noah Gray with this because I think he's the guy who's not drafted everywhere that legitimately could be the rando player you need. He's out there quite a bit. If you don't get Travis Kelce, but Noah Gray like ends up being the guy who scores, like you're going to be at such a huge advantage. I like Noah Gray, to fill in the tight end spot at the end. I don't necessarily know if I love going to tight end with Gray. I mean, I think that's fine. I could definitely see him outscoring some of the wide receivers. I actually think Noah Gray together with Travis Kelce is a bit underdone because they could both score. I mean, they don't necessarily cannibalize each other. They're out on the field together quite a bit. So see if we get Noah Gray here. I imagine we will. And if not, then can take Kincaid. That's fine. I also feel like if there's a pretty good chance that this is duped by someone. And if you're ending this lineup, I would say most people are going to end this with Kincaid versus Noah Gray. So Kincaid goes because this guy needed. See, this guy, if I'm this guy, I'm taking Noah Gray because nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to have Kelson Gray. And I mean, it might suck. It's probably not going to work. But if it does, like you're going to ship. So anyway, TPD Mafia, if you are out there, just open your third eye. Open your third eye is all I'm saying. So we will fire up one more. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. I am very excited for tomorrow. Definitely. It's one of those things where I'm really excited for football tomorrow, but it's also like everyone knows that this is really like the end of football. The Super Bowl is for the normies. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like even just watching it, you got to like watch it with people that don't normally watch football, and you're just so much more in the weeds than them, and they're like telling you like, oh, I bet like $20 on this, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a lot of, and you're thinking about like, dear God, I'm doing all these like like I can't even explain like BR to normal people. They're like, what do you spend your time doing? Like drafting these people? Don't you draft in August? It's like, no. So yeah, thank you. I love Worthy this week, and I think Noah is being underdrafted in this. I'm not pointing to the bankroll. I'm not historical anomalies. I'm not doing this. I'm just saying the normies at your football party who are getting really hyped up about like, logging on and betting, who are not just like deep in the weeds of best ball, waiting for the big board to drop because you're just like fiending for you don't want the fantasy season to end. Like you need something to do with all this knowledge you've accrued. It's just not the same. I am not bet size shaming anybody. I would never do that, but it's more just like, the caring about, the third receiver on the, where like Noah Brown signs or something like these, your guy at the Super Bowl party like does not care like about that. And we're gonna care a lot. All right, so we have Cook and Shakir. I would be thrilled if we get Josh Allen, but I mean this guy should take. Now Daniels just went, so I don't know what he's going to do. He's probably going to take Josh Allen. Yeah, there we go. Well, when I want Josh Allen to fall, it's just not going to happen. I will take Kareem Hunt. Yeah, I think the Dolphins are going to try to run it back. Frankly, I don't know if I want that. Tyreek was a guy I was not really excited when we signed him, to be perfectly honest, because I was like, this is a receiver who relies so much on speed. And I think that's going to go soon. And I was wrong. I mean, he's, great route runner, better hands than I thought. But now the speed is starting to go. Like he's not that, guy who just breaks it open for an 80-yard touchdown every other game. Like I don't know what his longest touchdown was this year, but that explosiveness, for whatever reason, whether it was the wrist injury or what, or he's just 3 years older, and the difference between the fastest player in the NFL and the 20th fastest player is very small. It's really out there on the margins. When you lose that, all of a sudden you're really not that elite player anymore. In this draft here, kind of backdoored this like very paint by numbers team that I built in the main BR, but I'm never going to complain about a team like this. Mahomes, Hunt, Brown, Gray with 2 Bills, and just hope that other game is a slog and that this is the game you need. I think this kind of lineup makes a lot of sense in a portfolio. And if the other game shoots out, then this lineup is dead, but that's fine because most of our lineups are going to be dead. But oops, I clicked pick'em. I'm not in a pick'em state, so yeah, I don't want the underdog police to come take me away. I wish I could do pick'em, but I cannot. Even though every time I do pick'em, I get absolutely slaughtered. So Gary Gensler and friends are protecting me from myself, so I thank them for that. But yeah, I can't do pick'ems because I would like to put those together. I think they're fun to build, but I simply cannot. Got the 2 spot going here, and so we will likely have another Travis Kelce team. 30 seconds to launch. But yeah, I mean, the Dolphins, we kept our, and yes, I'm a we guy. I say we for my team. I've been a fan for more than 30 years now, and I'm sorry. It is habit. I know I'm not part of the franchise, but I also kind of blame English for this. There's no real great way to express that view of being on one side but not actually being part of the organization. Regardless, they kept the GM, which I think was a bit of a mistake, because the team is just not good. Like, at the end of the year, I've never seen a team want to make the playoffs less than the Miami Dolphins. Like, Tua, they kept resting Tua, and it's like, was he really that hurt to where he couldn't play? Like, if I think they just didn't want to go to Buffalo and get embarrassed, which is exactly what would have happened, which is exactly what happened last year when they went to Kansas City and had zero interest in playing in 5-degree temperatures. They wanted to be home. Like, Tyreek didn't even go out on the field in the last drive. And yeah, we were drawing pretty thin, but like, the game wasn't over, and our guys were just like, nah, we're good. We are good. I'd love to get Shakir here. If I'm this guy, I'm snapping off Brown and Shakir, but he takes a very early Patrick Mahomes. My God, J-Dubs. I don't know if he's trying to get different or if he is a victim to the projection monster, but so he snaps off Mahomes and then he takes AJ Brown. Oh boy. So I think I'm actually going to take Devonta here, because what I thought was turning into a Chiefs-Bills thing is now a Jalen Hurts team. And I like Devonta. We'll take him. I did not know this. I missed the Euros trying to cancel the Swolecast, but who could go up against the Swolecast and think they were going to win? I mean, it's just not going to happen. They're uncancelable. So, but yeah, so this quickly pivoted to a Hurts team. It is kind of nice when all the quarterbacks go in the third round or earlier and you don't have one. It's like, well, I know my last pick is Jalen Hurts, and it gives you a bit of an advantage in information, and your last pick, it's like the last hard pick you have kind of gets pushed up. I think I take Eckler here. I am tempted to take Zach Ertz and make this a double tight end team. But I think if I don't get Eckler and this guy takes him, then my running back room is really bad. And I am ideologically opposed to taking Isaiah Pacheco this week. I just the eye test was not good. He failed that miserably. So definitely taking Hurts with our last pick. Now the question is who to take here. Oof. Do we do it? Is this Jamison Crowder country? This feels pretty gross. I'm not gonna lie. But I really hate. I don't hate Jahan Dotson. I have nothing against the man, but I think Jahan Dotson is really bad, and he is so uninvolved. And if I want to take some random guy who could spike, I don't mind taking this on a Hurts team. I think most people who take Crowder are going to pair him with Jaden Daniels. So we'll take a guy who's barely owned, and then I'll take a guy who I think this would be the second quarterback you'd stack him with. So trying to get unique with an otherwise somewhat chalky team with Eckler, Worthy, and Kelsey here. I know it's a Dotson revenge game, but it's like it's sort of like like if house cat really wanted revenge on like a Bengal tiger. It's like, well, yeah, they're really angry, but like they're really not gonna be able to do anything because they're still, at the end of the day, they're a house cat. And I don't know why I just compared Jahan Dotson to a house cat, but I think, he could want have all the revenge in his heart and still not be able to do anything. I do respect the argument. I am, as a admitted vibes-based player, I do not hate the narrative, but they have played twice. They have played twice this season, and I am not calling Jahan Dotson that. I would. This is a family show. I would not suggest such a thing. I just don't think he's very good. So they played in week 16, and Dotson did not record a catch. And they played in week 11, and what happened in week 11? He had 1 reception for 8 yards. So, I mean, this is now the 3rd time they've played. Yes, it's the playoffs, but like, he's had 2 chances, and he has 1 catch for 8 yards in 2 games. Again, so I think, but I don't hate it as a click, right? I mean, he's not drafted most of the time. He scored earlier in the playoffs. He's on the field so much. It's just Hurts doesn't look at the 3rd receiver. So we have Saquon, Kelsey. We'll see if Spate 13, what he does. I feel like he could take Josh Allen. He takes Terry McLaurin, so I'm going to just take James Cook here. This is true. It's an old, Klingon proverb. Oh, wait, I didn't realize I was up. I think I'll take Worthy here. Oh. I think I'll go Cook, Worthy, and see what happens. See what happens from there. Allen has been falling in some of these. I don't think Allen is going to fall past B Gold. B Gold strikes me as a Josh Allen kind of guy. So, but we'll see. So Spate here takes Daniels, which, I mean, I don't hate getting Daniels McLaurin. Again, I run into, for me, the problem is I think there's going to be people who take AJ Brown here and then they get McLaurin at 11. Again, obviously, like, you don't get like one less player when you draft, but I think you end up behind a lot of lineups that you just need a lot to go right. You need a lot to go right for. So yeah, B Gold was a Josh Allen guy, but I don't blame him, right? I mean, Shakir falling to 8 and then Allen at 9, that makes a lot of sense. Like, this is why the 101 is such a nice spot. This team, I'm gonna like more than like whatever I get here. I'm just gotta be honest. So B-Rob goes. We'll see. This guy probably should take Devonta based on his start, but we'll see. He takes Kareem Hunt. Which I don't know if I fully follow. I mean, I guess game stacking is not as important here, or is seemingly not as important. I don't know if I agree with that. I'll take Devonta and Eckler. I'm a little cooler on Eckler than many, but I don't mind him here. And now I'm a little more agnostic to whether I get Hurts or Mahomes. This guy will probably take either. He might be the same way. He might push quarterback because he can stack them with either. When I have Worthy, I can stack either. but it does mean that now I can wait on quarterback, which I guess when you have the first pick of the 6th round is less exciting than when you're like the 101 and you push quarterback. But regardless, we'll see if Decon takes a quarterback or not. I'm probably either going to take Goddard if I end up with Hurts, assuming Goddard falls, or I'll take Noah Gray. There's a good chance Goddard does not get past B Gold. I guess it's going to depend if he wants like a Kincaid. No, he takes Goddard, which again, I think that's fine. But now I am a little more hopeful that I get Mahomes here to stack with Gray, because I think I like the way that team rounds out with Gray and Worthy and Mahomes than I do with Hurts and then like whatever tight end I end up with. Okay, so we'll end this with Mahomes and Gray, which I'm pretty happy with. Again, this is how you end up with like way too much Noah Gray. And then I'll be watching tomorrow and like he'll go 2 for 13 and no touchdowns. And I'll be like, well, title was not defended, but we'll see. We'll see. I think I'm happy with how this team came out. I think it's a little paint by numbers. It's, not the most exciting team, but I think it's a team that tells a story that makes a certain amount of sense. And Noah Gray not being drafted 100% of the time means, there's a world where this lineup's not duped, but it's also not like it's not duped because I have John Bates in there. So we will run another. We'll run another. All right, filled up again. Got the 3-hole. Checking in my my golf lineup. That is not going well. That is not going very well. I do wish that Underdog had like a full week golf BR product. I would play that. I know. Like I said, John, watch Bates score, and he's the junker you need at 0 ownership. I haven't even thought of taking him. You have to really be a sicko to be clicking on this. But I mean, look at this. Is there a better sign? Oh, I think it's covered up. Or is it? Ready for Sunday. I mean, my God, he's one of us. He is ready. I don't know. Are we all just missing who you need this week in John Bates Motel? Unclear. So we'll take Kelsey. Trojan takes Allen. It's like if I don't take McLaurin here, I'm never taking him, right? Like, I'm going to take AJ Brown. Normally I would take Shakir, but I have a lot of Kelsey, Shakir starts. So I'm trying to get a little different, but I kind of immediately regret the Brown click. I probably should have taken Shakir there, but that's okay. We'll take B-Rob. Is this shaping up to be a John Brown or a John Bates team? Like, kind of makes sense, but we might save that. We might save that for, non-stream drafts, like the true alpha here. They do. They have good stuff for golf. And the ship it Discord's pretty good. I mean, Tambo's very accessible. He's really nice guy. I definitely support those guys. I think they're genuinely like. I mean, maybe I'm just a rube, but I always got the sense that they were genuine people. And so I will I support them in all of their endeavors. Yeah, I think their golf stuff's pretty good. I don't use anyone's projections though, so I can't really speak to that. But you know, I think they're definitely about like process and teaching you versus like this is who you should play. So I think if you use it for like picks, you might be like, I don't want to say disappointed, but that's not like the real value. The real value is like there's a lot of material and like how to make yourself a better player. So we have Mahomes, Hunt, Kelsey, Brown. I need another receiver. I'm just going to take Keon Coleman here. I have so much Samuel. I have not been taking Cooper or Hollins really, which is probably bad. Especially Cooper. He feels pretty due. I wish I'd been taking some Cooper, but I feel like it's almost too late now. I took like no Cooper in the big BR, so having like one Cooper team in this side contest, like the die is pretty much cast. So I'll probably do 2 or 3 more of these. I was exactly the same way. I watched the Outlaw Tour on the like grainy iPhone camera. I don't know if you remember Noah Hoffman, Outlaw Tour legend, who you know, history remembers that he overslept for his Outlaw Tour round, but that's not what happened. He actually he was like highly owned in the Outlaw Tour DK and just didn't show up for his tee time. And apparently what happened was it's like at the event he had been like credited for something that he withdrew from like way in advance, and they just like rolled it into another tournament. He didn't even know he was signed up until a bunch of us like sweaty nerds were like DMing, not me, but like people on Twitter were like adding him and DMing him like, hey man, where are you? Like, he's like, I didn't even know I was in this tournament. So yeah, so he actually was like a sponsor's invite to something last year. He did not make the cut, but I always root for that guy because it must have just been something like he's just like kind of, you know, a mini tour grinder, and you know, has a bunch of us like DFS losers, like, you know, with way too much with like more invested in the Outlaw Tour than like, you know, the people playing in it. Is so stupid, but so much fun. Oh yeah, it was wow, hold on. I will go back to the Outlaw Tour, but I have not gotten Cook and Kelsey in a long time. So thank you to this fabulous trio here. Again, no bad shaming, but it is worth noting that people with less experience will draft off of projections versus like the ADP, which you really just have to either have up in your head or have imported yourself. So pretty exciting there. Yeah, definitely a GM if there is one in this. Yeah, you could get that start earlier in the week before people started realizing like what the ADPs ought to be. I'm going to take Devonta. I
think I'll take Devonta Hollywood here. Again, this opens a little optionality to which quarterback. I've become very QB agnostic as to Hurts or Mahomes. I would prefer Mahomes, but at least now I'm not like, feel like I have to take Mahomes. I don't like taking Mahomes in the 4th because he's so often available as your last pick in the 6th round. That if I can avoid that, I am pretty happy. So now the question is, who is, assuming I get Mahomes, who is the last pick with him? Open to suggestions from the chat. We'll star Mahomes, and we will see. Mahomes goes. I should not have been too surprised. I can't imagine getting Goddard or Ertz here. But I would definitely snap one of them off. Wow, he took Kincaid. It's totally going to go Goddard, Ertz. I'm going to be in shambles here. Because I think those guys, it would be awesome to end with Hurts, Goddard. That would be a pretty epic way to end this team. I think I prefer... Well, I was going to say I prefer Ertz to most of the rando receivers here. Wow. All right. 2 tight end build with Kelsey and Goddard. I love this. I love this team. This is a team I'm very happy with. I think it's going to be fairly unique. Double tight end isn't super played. It's very hard to get Cook and Kelsey. Yeah. I mean, I'm generally a little more bearish on Hurts in the Eagles. But if that is, script goes a little more how like Vegas and the general public thinks it's going to go, then I'm pretty happy with this team here. All right. We will fire up one more. All right, we got the 2 spot. But yeah, the Outlaw Tour era was great. Golf, the way I play on DK, I usually just play one lineup and play it in a bunch of like single entry contests, which makes golf super frustrating because if I have a guy or two miss the cut, then my week is over. So I need to start like either 3 maxing or 10 maxing or MMEing, because it's a lot of work to build a lineup and then just be like, the guy opens double, triple, and you're like, well, on to next week. So I need to revamp my process just a little bit. This will probably be my last draft today. I got to jump, I think, after this. But Historical Anomalies, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Definitely appreciate spending time with all you guys. I'm gonna miss this in the summer, but I do plan to stream some. Big board and BBMs and all that, and hopefully people are interested in that. If not, I'll stream and talk to myself, because I've done that before. I've done that with no audio, the silent film era, as I believe you coined it. So we see Worthy, then McLaurin go. James Cook at 5. I think Yeah, I think I take Shakir here, and I hope Allen falls. If I don't get Allen, that's okay. Yeah, the variance in golf is so brutal. It's so brutal. The worst thing that happened to me in golf is I won very early on in doing golf and thought I was good at it, and then just got absolutely hammered for the next couple of years. Turns out I wasn't actually that good. I just got very lucky. Also, though, I've weirdly done well at the Sony. My biggest cashes have come at the Sony. So I think it's just I don't know what it is. I think part of it is because that event, course history, seems to really be sticky, and course history has always been a big part of my process. So I think I just need to up my buy-in for that tournament and then leave some of the other ones alone. Like the Amex, I'm always bad at. The Farmers, I'm bad at. I've looked at this over the year, but the Sony, man, that's my event. I'm usually pretty dialed for it. So, I guess, and I'm terrible at the Masters. God awful at Masters DFS. I love watching it, and then I make lineups, and I'll pick guys that are just 8 over after day one. Like last year, I was huge on Adrian Moronk, big Polish dude, hits it a mile. I was like, this is your course, buddy. You set up so well for this, and turns out he didn't. He was terrible. And my friends still make fun of me for touting Adrian Moronk. So be careful who you tie your name to, because you will get made fun of in group chats for that sort of thing. But I like Eckler, but I don't have to worry about him taking a running back. I don't know if you're joking, Anomalies. And I hope I'm not secretly muted. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be a aggressive mouse wiggler, but yeah. So this guy, he already had 2 RBs, so I could push Eckler to this pick here. So we got Allen, Eckler, Shakir, Hollywood, Travis Kelce, and then decide how to land this plane. This feels like it's time for me to get my first Ty Johnson share in this tournament. And a good way to end the stream, assuming Jay Dennis takes Pacheco over Johnson. We'll see what he does. If I don't get Ty Johnson, I'll probably just take Curtis Samuel. I'm kind of 50-50 on picks like this. I worry a little about Ty Johnson. He just went. Okay, so there we go. Decision made. So I will end this draft in the stream with another Curtis Samuel. So we end up with Allen, Eckler, Shakir, Brown, Samuel, Kelce. I use Fantasy National and then ship it. I used to use Rick Rungood, but I found the Fantasy National stuff was really duplicated. I mean, Rick Rungood is great. I just didn't need both, and so I use Fantasy National. I don't think Ship It has course history. Course history is the easiest thing. It's pretty easy to find on your own. I usually just use the old leaderboards. I guess it doesn't present it nicely. So with a little elbow grease, you can dig that up on your own. Yeah, I use Fantasy National if I build my own models. I have actually not done that yet this year. I need to get back in the trenches and do that. But yep, Fantasy National and Ship It are the 2 things I use for golf. And yeah, I know. I'm now the Aeneas Smith guy. That guy's not even going to be in the league in 2 years. And I literally am going to remember that guy 20 years from now. And I'm this is just useless brain space. And now I've been associated with this really, really mediocre slot receiver that can't see the field ahead of Jahan Dotson and I don't even know who is. It's like a Wilson of some kind. Yeah, Johnny Wilson. Like not great, but Anomalies, thank you for hanging out. Thanks to anyone else that swung by. I appreciate it. You can probably find me in the Matic Discord, and have a great weekend, and I'll chat with y'all soon. Take care, everyone.